And good. So we have 135 people registered to go. I am not willing to call it and say that we are VIP for the 4th year in a row. But I will tell you that it's sold out, and the next closest market center has 88 people. And from Dallas-Fort Worth. And unless they have a whole gaggle of tickets in their pot that they're waiting, they won't call it early. So the 15th is when they will announce for sure and for true VIP, but we're looking really, really strong. By the way, you guys know there's that second category for highest percentage of, which really gives a fair playing field to some of the smaller offices. We're number 2 in percentage. That's pretty impressive, because usually it's an office of like 40, like this just got started and they got like 20 people together, it's 50%. We're sitting at number 2. I really would love to beat that. I can't help myself. But it's a friend of mine that has the number 1 office, so it's fine. If Olivia can get it, that'd be great for her. Whatever.
I don't think you can beat that one anyway.
Okay.
You won't.
That's called a great relationship. Matt knows the exact buttons to push. Whenever he wants me to do something, he gets, I just don't think you can do it. All right, it's on. So, family reunion, the region, just so you know, there's always a regional event. They just announced, like today or yesterday, that is going to be on Monday night. We don't have a link yet for you to go and buy your tickets to that. As soon as we get it, we'll let you know. We'll get that there. It's at Funny Farm. It's like a comedy club kind of place. I don't really know a lot of details about it, so don't hold me to anything. Well, that's my weekend home. API. So that'll be Monday night. So we'll keep you posted on that. And we will have a pre-game meeting, we do with the packet and all the instructions and everything you need to know, so you're not lost and we're all connected, and the group me text instructions and all that good stuff. So we are getting super excited. I am working really hard on our guests that are going to go with us. Got some good people and really happy about that. So you guys will all be given the responsibility of being nice and taking care of our guests as well. So anything else on family reunion I need to? If you need a room, if you need a room, you need to talk to us ASAP, and we don't have any more. But we've got a couple of connections, and we might be able to get you taken care of. I would just let us know so we can at least keep a list. They'll start to come free here as we get to the end. Market centers that will have bought a block of rooms will start dumping them because they didn't fill them. So just let us know, and please be willing to room with someone. It'll save your cost, and it'll make it a lot easier to get on. I know, stop rolling your eyes at me, Lindsay.
It's okay, I get to stay with my mom.
Yes, exactly. Okay, family reunion.
Also, that,
yes.
the Alaska Airlines, they have some kind of special.
There's a discount code.
That runs out pretty soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That discount code is also on the Daily Digest. Look for it's a regional post from Bruce Hardy.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of quick stats, and then we're going to launch into sort of our teaching topic, and I think that some of you will get a lot out of it. So that's what I'm hoping at least. Just to kind of give you a quick overview year over year. So last year, in January of 2013, we started the year with 233 agents here at Keller Williams. We finished the year at 298. So 2 more. We were trying so hard. But we got some great people in the pipeline coming for January. So we're going to break that 300 here pretty quickly. Thanks, Brandon, for getting your license through. And Stephanie, you guys saved my bacon.
So what's your goal for numbers for 2014?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't said it yet. Right? We just transmitted, and I needed, my brain works kind of, I don't know if y'all did this, I needed to see the final numbers. Like, where did we end? Right? So 325 was our rate for the year. My guess is we'll probably say 325, and then once we hit that in 2 months, hey girls, man, once we hit that quickly, then we'll readjust. But we'll be letting you know what the goal is. Okay, closed units. You guys closed. This has been fantastic. In the month of December, y'all closed 276 units. December a year ago, you closed 205. Wow. For the year in total, in 2012, you closed 2,614 units for the year. This year, we closed 3,593. Wow. So that's a massive, massive uptick. We'll get into the volume. We'll get some final numbers out. I was literally pulling this together. The reports just came out this morning. You took 116 listings in December, which is good. It drops off in December. It's tough to get listings in December. It was still more than last year. Last year we listed 2,168 units for the year. In 2013, I'm saying last year, I'm saying it wrong. In 2013, we listed 2,693 units. Listings control the market. You hear me talk about it all the time, all the time. They're the key to the market share. They're the key to everything. So we are really going to push to see that number above 3,200 this year and really gain even more control of market share. Contracts written. You wrote, you know, our goal is always in your business, your goal is to write more than you close, right? Because it's great that it's closed, but what's happening tomorrow? Pretty much consistently every month we have written more than we've closed. We dropped off this month, we closed 276, we wrote 272. Going into January, I'm really pleased with that. You know, in a tough time. The year before in December, we wrote 218. So significant increase. Year total, we went from 2,821 written units in 2012. In 2013, we wrote 4,043. Which, that makes sense, right? We're heavy on buyer sides because we have a lot of buyer's agents. So you see those written deals go up at a higher percentage than the listings. Closed GCI, you guys made, in 2012, we paid out $18,834,790 in commissions. This year, we paid out $25,475,808. You should go hug Marcy's neck. But no, don't hug her. She's not a hugger. You should don't touch her. Say hi. Thank you. She likes flowers. It's a lot of checks. She's not a hugger. Don't get personal space. I learned that real fast. Okay, and let me see if there's anything else in here. I know there's one more. Sorry, lots of reports. Yay. Last year, you guys know what I mean, right? I have to correct myself. 2012, we profit shared $306,040. In 2013, we profit shared $365,938. If I can just talk business to business owner to you guys for a second, and that's why we share these numbers, right? Why do I share? I mean, I know you get excited about what the Market Center does. The truth be told, you're more worried about your business, as you should be, but the reason we have this conversation is I want you to think like a business owner. I want you to think that way. The thing that I'm most proud about with our profit share number is that most of y'all know we had to restructure our deal with our mortgage company this year. And instead of being in partnership and a joint venture where we had a lot of income from them every month, thanks to Christy and Lindsay and Chris, their production, we went to a flat rate that we get from them, which is a great number, but we lost over half of what we make out of as a company. That means we lost about $375,000 in income this year. Understand that you guys replaced all of that. So to profit share what we did last year plus grow while losing $375,000 in income is fantastic. I was kind of beating myself up and kind of ticked that we didn't hit 400. And then I started thinking about it. I went, wait a second. We replaced a ton of income, and we replaced it with listing and selling income, which makes us a more foundationally solid real estate company that's not dependent on the production of another business to continue to be profitable. So think about those things in your business as well. You know, expenses, income, all of that. Okay. What I want to dive into for the last 20 minutes. Did anybody in here in this year have a deal fall through?
Me.
You know, I had a lot of conversations conversations in the last bit of the month. Clinton Peterson emailed me back. I sent out the stats, the urine stats, and he said, you know, I'm really excited. There's a couple people around here who call me Mama Bear. I don't know. I think Jacob Sebring started that. He said, he said Mama Tumor. He said, I'm going to make Mama Tumor proud. I DFT 14 deals in the last quarter. Like our numbers would have been so, you wrote. Now understand that when you have a DFT, and I don't want to like dump salt into your wound here, but I'm going to for just 1 second. When you have a deal fall through, you have written that business, you have captured a lead, connected with the lead, converted the lead, put them into contract, you have worked pro bono, because you don't get paid on that deal, right? Now, there are times that it is the right thing for a deal to fall apart, so I just wanted to put that out there and then take it off the table for conversation. What I want to just open up dialogue, because I know for a fact that Clinton's illustration is, I know you and I have talked about this, you know, Steve and I had a conversation, not about DFTs, but about deals just not closing. I mean, y'all had like 5 roll over to January, or 4 or 5, through just crazy stuff. Dave and I had a conversation about this. Linwood and Kim and Terry and Katrina and I have talked about this. Let's talk about how do we bulletproof our transactions? What do we need to do? Fire away.
Well, maybe this should go at the end, but talking about bulletproofing transactions, one of our DFTs this year, actually, when there was a encroachment issue, and then so that deal
I may or may not have talked to that
You
part.
may or may not have gotten that phone call, and Butch, and Shayna. I don't know.
I'm slightly
I
familiar
think
with
you
this file.
But then because what happened was there was an encroachment issue, they needed to get a variance, the seller didn't believe the variance was going to go through, and we followed up with the seller to find out, you know, they had in fact got the variance.
After the deal had fallen apart.
After the deal had fallen
Months
apart.
later.
Months later, and the buyer was trying to buy the house and didn't feel that they still owed us a commission. So I unleashed a little bit of fury on them, and we got paid. But
It was a win-win, Fury.
it was, yeah. But I mean, you know, just that bulletproofing, you know, the transaction piece was super important. And actually, even though it wasn't 100% bulletproof, it was enough there that, you know, whenever they contacted the attorneys, it was like, well, look, you're probably going to win. It's going to cost you a $25,000 bill to be right. What do you want to pay the commission?
Well, so Chris followed up with that client. If I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember correctly, a couple months later, Chris followed up with them. No, Joe, the other agent called.
No, he called the other agent and said, hey, did they ever get the variance? The agent calls back and says, yeah, we got the variance. He says, great, I'm going to contact my client. And then like a day or 2 later, then the other agent says, hey, look, let me shoot straight with you. They've been in contact with the seller. The seller called me because they wanted representation. They don't want anyone, you know, they just kind of want to do this and then cut out the commission and sell it at a lower price. And then so we were trying to figure out
Did you have a buyer rep agreement on those people?
No.
You were supposed to say yes. But okay, so that's a whole other.
Well, that was part of my thing. So yeah,
Well,
right.
there's
So
a
step
lesson.
one, you know, there's a lesson with you know the buyer's team is like, hey, look, I mean, this is the importance of having that buyer's representation agreement. Also on the termination, you know, making sure, because whenever we put the the termination and what happens if a buyer and seller go down the road, it was neglected to put what the commission.
Is everybody familiar? I'm going to stop you right there. Is everybody familiar with that? There's a little teeny blank on the termination form, or the rescission agreement. It says, if this property is transferred between the two within blank days, a commission is still owed. Guys, the details matter on your contracts, right? And like Linwood said, I mean, thank you for being so open and vulnerable. They missed that tail. They didn't have it in there. Thankfully, these buyers called an attorney who said, look, be smart, just pay the commission. It's just get it done and call it good. But those details, even in a rescission, and what I find is sometimes when the deal's going dead, what do we do in our brain? We just check out. We just check out. We just check out. We're moving on. And we can fill that. I've seen those forms come across my desk. I sign the earnest money checks quite a bit. Usually Butch handles them, but sometimes they come to me and I look. A lot of people don't fill out hardly anything on there. take the time to fill that out, because that could be the difference between getting a commission or not. Yes, ma'am?
Well, and filling it out with, like putting in, you know, buyer or seller to return resale certificate or reimburse for appraisal, or, because I promise you, if it falls apart and you don't put that in there, you're gonna be paying for it. You know, because you're not gonna get your seller to buy another resale certificate.
Right.
Not that that's from personal experience at all. But,
I've heard tell.
you know, I'm just, through the grapevine. But we had 22% DFTs this year, and it's those little things. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got my name.
Yeah. And I mean, if
That's a
we're,
Princess Bride reference.
I had more DFTs this year than I have in 7 years of real estate combined.
Okay, so how do you, as a business owner, how,
Write that off.
Yeah, I know, right? How do you approach this? What's your strategy to tackle this? Go ahead.
We sat down as a team, and I mean, you want to talk about a listing and a buyer's consult, like, we are going through it to the nth degree. We're also telling our sellers, because we had a lot of listings where the buyers just walked away the week before closing. Like, for whatever reason, just
As a
gone.
measure, you've seen that.
Just
yesterday.
gone. Yeah.
And just got
and-
scared.
Yep.
Said
And
it
they
was
were
like,
just
it was too
done.
much for the house for her and
Mhm.
backed out. She'll
Get
buy.
divorced, we had people get divorced
Yeah.
this year. right
So
before closing.
really, really
Good thing,
prepping them in the beginning that it's not over till it's over, and really qualifying those buyers to the nth degree. Like, I'm not nice. You know, do you want to buy a house? Great. This is what's going to happen. This is what it's going to look like. Now, do you still want to buy a house? And if they say no, I'm fine with them going to another agent and another agent wasting their time in their DFT. But we're not going to play that game anymore. So I only want to work with qualified people. You know.
Okay, so qualifying the buyers, and you know what I found is oftentimes, well, let me ask. I'm curious. In each of your evaluations of your deals that have fallen through, is anybody finding a consistent theme, like repairs or financing?
2 of my 3 DFTs were buyers, and it was the repair amendment that killed it, because the seller, the listing licensee didn't have a pre-inspection done, and then we got to the inspection process. I had one seller that just said, no, I'm gonna rent it, and he just took it off the market, and freaked out.
So we're seeing repairs. Go ahead.
We've had the problem with financing and lender communication, lack thereof, or too much of. Lender interference, I kind of want to call it. We've had that issue quite a bit this year with our DFTs.
Gotcha.
I think a biggie when you go into a listing appointment is if they're at all worried about the condition of their home, or if it's an older home, having them spend that extra money to get a pre-listing home inspection, and then also letting them know from the get-go, because sometimes they'll think, okay, repairs are complete, I'm good to go. Well, you have to understand that home inspector represents the seller, and then you're gonna have one come in that represents the buyer. You're probably still gonna have to make repairs, and we can't really estimate how much it's gonna cost. But don't think like, okay, I got a full price offer, I'm taking my money and I'm running. You might have to replace a furnace. We can't anticipate
Well,
that.
so what I'm hearing is this is an expectations conversation.
You have to set it
Right.
from the beginning.
Have setting the expectations with your clients from the beginning. You know, there's that saying, and I can't remember, Joe, this is where Joe always helps me. I can't remember exactly how it goes. Something about, there's a catchy way to say it, but if you put the time in up front, you save, if you spend hours up front, you'll save hours and days on the opposite end, right? Useless to me.
That's it.
That's where he gets it from, Jim.
There you go.
Plan to
Exactly.
fail or fail to plan?
Plan to fail, fail to plan, you know, we can come up with a million of them, but is it worth, I love how you said it, Stephanie, sitting down with your seller and saying, yes, we've done a great thing here. We've got the house pre-inspected, we've got the repairs done, and we are not over the hurdle yet. We've just minimized our exposure.
Yeah. And
Right.
the other thing, just from the condition part, just, working on the multi-family end a lot with Kevin's team, is when you have home inspections for an investment property, making sure that, that notice has been posted and that those tenants are not there. Because most tenants, especially if their rent is low, they don't want a new landlord. And I had tenants kill deals for me because they learn that, the new landlord wants to live in your unit, and they just start going off about X, Y, and Z, whether it's true or not.
Yep.
So that's a biggie too.
Absolutely. Joe?
I'm super detailed and organized. One thing that eats my lunch every year over year, is not paying attention to the bill of sale.
Yeah.
There are many dishwashers and refrigerators out there with my,
You have an account at Lowe's.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's not for your remodel.
But it's very important to go through that. we had a scenario where we had filled out a bill of sale asking for everything, and the bill of sale that was signed neglected a refrigerator, and some way, somehow, I missed it, right? And, you know, that's my DNA all over that. And so really when the bill of sale comes through, just hammering on that, making sure that it is what it is and what it, you know, what's
What
expected.
you think it is, what, yeah.
Yep. And then on the flip side of that, the preliminary title report has been a huge piece for me. A lot of times especially working with sellers, I just kind of go, oh yeah, okay, looks good. You guys know about.
I have one.
Right, yeah.
I have one.
You know about that cloud on the title, which is a mechanic lien for $10,000. You got that, right? Yeah, okay, good. But if you don't bring that up and it comes down to closing, that will blow you up.
It'll blow a deal, it'll blow your commissionectomy, you know, you'll.
Totally.
Or a seller, it's got a different seller's name on the title.
No, I mean, we could go all day on title, right? But here's what I'm hearing, here's my takeaway from this. Checklists are important with your listings and your buyers. Checklists are there for a reason, because they keep you on the details, right? They remind you that you need to order an as-built, not 2 days before closing, because you just need that piece of paper to get the lender to say yes. You may find there's really interesting information, like an easement, or.
I had done DFT because the house was 8 inches in DVT.
Absolutely, I mean, that as-built is a critical piece, and I can tell you from experience, until I built that, I was terrible about that. I was the worst. I would order those, I mean, I was calling my surveyor all the time, crap again. I was terrible until it bit me one time, and then I learned, I ordered that thing right at the beginning. My encouragement to you is get your due diligence done early. Early, all of it. The resale certificate, the title report, the as-built, the inspection. Get it out of the way, because until those items are agreed to and acknowledged by everybody, what do you have? Potential risk, right? You have potential for something to fall apart. You just do. So it's so critical to you know, I think sometimes what happens is, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think sometimes what happens is we check off in our head, contract signed, gonna wait for repairs. When there's in that 10-day window of time, or whatever it is to get that inspector out there, you could probably bang out 90% of the due diligence in a transaction.
Well, we actually, I was talking about this with the team this morning, which is really funny, right? Because we all want to get a 6% commission, but we only want to do 1.5% work. All right, so, you know, I mean, how many times do, you know, listing directions are not spelled right, you got crappy photos, you know, all this other stuff, you don't, you just send over the counteroffer, or you won't initial and sign all the places where the sellers, where the agent's supposed to initial and sign. It really comes down, I mean, if we're gonna charge these people, you know, make $9,000, $10,000 on one deal, like, we need to make sure that we're doing $9,000 or $10,000 worth of work.
That's a great point. I really appreciate that perspective.
I would love to hear feedback on, we tend to wait till after the home inspection because we have people walk away from home inspections and then we've already spent our sellers' money.
If you have the as-built, you have the as-built.
Yeah.
You're done.
Okay.
You can use that again, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get, it's not obsolete, yeah, there's not a time limit on it. I mean, if it's dated within a year, any buyer's gonna accept it, especially if it's relatively new. Resale certificate is fine, as long as you get it back.
Yep.
You know, you can use it again for what, 6 months?
Yeah.
The resale certificate?
COSA is 6 months.
COSA is 6
Well,
months.
and in the valley
The
is 6
appraisal,
months.
you have 40.
The appraisal, obviously, but that's after repairs. And title, they can always update title.
Okay.
They can always amend title. You can just tell the next buyer, look, we've already got it open, here's where it at, you can close somewhere else if you want to, but we're closing here because we're gonna amend and update the title.
And I guess if you do all that due diligence and that stuff in the beginning and that's out of the way, you can then build your relationship with your client as the time goes on.
Well, now you're worried about just communicating with them, not communicating bad information.
Okay.
And oh crap, and oh this, and oh that, yeah.
The other thing is having a conversation with your vendors, because one thing Chris Stevens and I talked about is lenders got, and I'd say it to his face because I did, lenders got lazy. And so they would say, oh, well, we're just not gonna make that date. Well, now with multiple offers, that seller's going, please don't make that date because I'm gonna go take that other offer. I mean, we're now seeing backup offers. We're now seeing them for more. So they're going, yeah, I'll wait another 30 days, not a problem. They're giving me 10 grand more. You know, so the times in your contracts and having that relationship and saying, hey, if I write it like this, can you perform, is really becoming more and more and more important.
Right, well, I'll tell you, I don't know if any of y'all remember or did business with Carol Butler back when Carol was still selling. I have never met anyone who was as on top of the dates in the contract as Carol. You did not miss a date. She knew dates inside, outside, upside down, and she did $30–40 million worth of real estate. It wasn't like she sold 2 houses a year. This woman had a lot of business and kept track of a lot of things. The dates are so imperative. So, I mean, I really believe system, number one, and this is a conversation that actually we could probably carry for a good solid hour. Expectations dialogue in the beginning. Setting the expectations, having the conversations with them. I remember at one point changing my buyer's consultation to add a script where I just said, here's the deal, if you're getting scared or thinking of backing out, I'm the person you talk to. Don't be afraid to have that conversation with me, because if I don't know where you are, I cannot protect you. Because what I found was buyers were afraid to tell me they were getting cold feet. They either didn't want to disappoint me, or they thought maybe I would be mad, or that, you know, who knows what goes on in the head, but or like all of a sudden our relationship would change, it kind of be adversarial, and I'm like, what? I don't understand. We were like best friends 3 days ago, and today I feel like we're on the opposite side of the. But it's because they're moving in their mind. So really setting the stage for open communication. Systems and checklists, they are there to protect you. Those details, being over proactive, getting all the stuff done. I'm going to tell you, one of the side benefits that you will find if you really get purposeful about clearing the due diligence as fast as possible, other agents in this town will love you. They will want to, your lenders will love you. Your title officers will love you. They will want to do business with you. When you work with someone, has anybody ever experienced that? You work with someone on the other side and they are just nailing their end, and they got this done and they got that done. How do you feel on the opposite side of that? You're like, man, this is awesome working with Linwood. You took care of that asphalt in 3 days after we got but that will make you understand that the other agents in this town are your customers just as much as your clients are your customers. They sell your properties. You sell theirs. So really building that in will help you. I have a recruiting appointment at noon, so I'm going to end us on time today. But I want to leave you with this one thought. One of the things that Shayna and Allison and I, he was off gallivanting around Canada, discussed is we're going to build a theme into our training this year, and that theme is creating raving fans. You know, we do a really good job of teaching you guys to lead generate. We do a really good job of pushing you to generate the deals, generate the deals, generate the deals. What we need to continue to do is keep that pressure, but also increase our customer service. Because that's the key to your business 4 and 5 years from now. Because the raving fans are the ones who are going to go do the lead gen for you. So they're going to create the gimmies when people say, come list me. My best friend wants to buy tomorrow. I told them they have to use you. Who loves that call, right? But how do you get that call? You get that call in the 45 days that you work through a transaction. So we're really going to be focusing on driving support, customer service, creating raving fans. And you know, we kind of have a little, I'll just be honest, KW has a little bit of a reputation of being, you know, run and gun. Our agents are out there, lead gen. Everybody knows we can get the listings, get the buyers. Some people say, you guys don't do great, that's great, follow doing a transaction. My goal is that this is the year that we not only grow our #1 market share presence and grow our production, but that we change that perception by how we teach you guys to take care of your clients and your customers and the other agents. And bulletproof your deals.
What'd you just say? They give us throw our way?
Did you hear that, Matt? I threw that in there just for you.
Someone's been waiting a long time to have you say that in a team meeting.
I don't know, I thought I heard something, but I wasn't sure.
We took #1 market share position this year. So 7 years after opening, we are #1 in market share with about 920 million in sales.
Almost $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion in sales.
Done.
We'll hit $1 billion this year. Remax Dynamic was number
They
2.
like laugh.
And we actually combined all the Remax offices together to make sure it was fair. We didn't want to say, because if it was just this office, we crush them. But if we kept